And then we're going to get into tonight's slate, short 4-game slate. I'm going to break it all down for you guys and then give you guys my leans and analysis. And then, like I said, make sure you guys all circle back to the comments after later on in the day where we get the official news, what's going on, a little closer to these locks where, sometimes you get more insight with what's going on with who's in, who's out. And that's where I'll post my official plays later on in the comments down below. So make sure you guys all come back to this video and you see those plays updated throughout the day. Okay. But this is where we're looking at Toronto traveling to Indiana. All right. Toronto is getting 6.5 in this contest with an over-under 245.5. Okay, guys. But this is one where we look into the actual matchup. You have to understand these contests between these two teams both went sailing over way over 250 points. This is where we saw 127, 125 last time out, as well as a previous matchup being in the 130s respectively and above for the first matchup between these two teams. So Indy is on a back-to-back. And we look into this, guys. This is kind of the Pascal Siakam comeback tour, right? Toronto trading him away, him absolutely destroying the stat lines as of recently. And the Pacers, -6.5. Okay, that's something where I think the Pacers can absolutely pull away. So if I had to have a lean in this game, it would be the Pacers -6.5. They are a very good cover team. Both of these teams are kind of respectively. Pacers 55% at home, 51% on the road for Toronto. So no real true edge. That's why I'm saying I'll lean towards the Pacers, but more so inclined to play the over in this contest. And now it's something fascinating to put into perspective. Toronto's 2-0 covering in the season series against the Pacers, but this is where I see some value taking the over. 56% and 65%, 19-10 covering that over at home. I really see points in this game. It'd be interesting to see where this total ends up if it starts to creep. Okay, but what we're looking at, guys, this is where you see Toronto kind of who they've beaten since the All-Star break. It's kind of fool's gold, at least in that manner. I don't think that the Pacers really have quite shown who they are to the public. I think, we look at the Toronto beating Atlanta, beating Brooklyn. That's really not a data point since the All-Star break that I'm going to bank on in terms of who they are, okay, who is their identity, okay. But we look at Indiana, what they've done. They destroyed Dallas at home. They took care of business against Detroit. They've beat Toronto 3 games ago, and it's something where they can put up a lot of points. All right, but if you look at the last 5 guys, the over/under in their last 5, they have only covered 1 to the over, and that was at a 245.5. So kind of interesting. That's why I don't have an official play yet. Obviously, Halliburton stat line, he's on fire. He's back without a minutes restriction, but it's more so I'm be leaning towards Indiana -6.5, as well as the over 246 in these contests. Indiana, like I said, scoring 131 points since the All-Star break in each contest. So definitely something to consider as we look forward into the day. And next, we're going to get into what we're seeing within the Detroit Pistons as well as the New York Knicks. This is one, guys, where we look at kind of these two teams moving in opposite directions. The Knicks really need Julius Randle back. Okay, we saw him get basically blown out by the Celtics over the weekend, and we look at what Jalen Brunson's doing. He's pulling his weight, but guys, it's just simply not enough. And this is one where we look at a big number 11. Detroit is getting on the road, taking on the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. And let's get into the breakdown, guys, because the Knicks have been a very good cover team. Detroit right down the middle, 50% across the board. And when New York has been having these big spreads, right, 10 to 12.5, that's where we're looking at a 80% cover team. Now, I want to get into some of the numbers with this. This is a lean towards the under, especially without Randle. New York has failed to score over 228. This is where we're seeing right now a lean towards that under, but the number is right where I would have it at 224. So really no value in this. So I'm probably not going to play either the side or total as an official play. I might look to get involved with some of the prop markets in this game. Cade Cunningham is destroying the stat lines, and as always, guys, Brunson is one that tears it up as well. But no official play as of yet, but I will lean. Okay, I will lean towards Detroit with the points, as well as the under in this situation. Okay, and then we're going to get into the third game. This is where we look into the Brooklyn Nets. Okay, the Brooklyn Nets taking on the Memphis Grizzlies, and this is another game, guys, where it really truly indicates kind of where these teams are at. We look at the numbers. You can see Brooklyn laying 1.5, I believe. We're looking at Memphis plus 1.5. That would be probably my lean in this contest. Memphis, we all know their injury report. And guys, that hasn't changed. We've been dealing with that. I think teams, especially this Memphis Grizzlies team, they have learned how to basically play with the roster they have right now. Okay. We look at Brooklyn trending in opposite directions. On the road, 9-17, 34%. Covering the spread on the road, okay? And when we look at Brooklyn, this is where they're 4 out of their last 5 resulting in losses. They've been on a huge road trip, and when we look at the games that they've been able to do, it was the Spurs, okay? And some of the numbers between that, guys, it just lends towards Brooklyn. 7 out of their last 8 games have been losses. Okay, I probably lean towards taking the Memphis money line. If you want the plus 1.5, fine, it's there, take it. But I do have a lean and an indication playing the Memphis money line, Memphis plus 1.5. You look into some of the prop markets, guys. This is where we can look and find some value, as always, with the Vince Williams number. He really has found a role within the squad. Always check out Aldama. Aldama is another one where we're going to be looking at some of his prop numbers. But Aldama as well as Vince Williams, those are 2 players from Memphis that I'm going to be looking into very strongly. But this is something, too, just to follow up. The Nets, you have to understand something, too. They took Minnesota to the 4th quarter. But, guys, they have another against the spread loss in the road. Okay, they're 2-14 against the spread, being on the road, and that goes back basically in December, and that's just a crazy number. Brooklyn is in full tank mode, not really doing anything, and the Grizz, Memphis is 4-0 against the spread at home, so getting points at home, I see some value in it despite the roster concerns. So I'm probably going to be playing the Memphis money line tonight. That will be probably one of my official plays. So remember to check back throughout the day if we get some crazy injury news. And then lastly, guys, we're going to get into the final game on tonight's slate, the Miami Heat going to play the Sacramento Kings, okay, a rematch of a game that was recently played. Miami was able to get the job done, winning, I think, 108-106, really taking it home, covering on that previous matchup. But this is something where you look at Miami, guys. They have covered 5 of their last straight. Spoelstra really gets his guys going. The Sacramento Kings on a back-to-back. This is one where I'd probably lean towards the under 225, but I don't see any value in that number. It's kind of right where it needs to be. Rozier, Harrow, both questionable for the Heat, so obviously wait till the final active and inactive look to see exactly what's going on within that matchup. But we look into this, guys, it's something where I would definitely lean towards taking the Heat at plus 7.5. It's kind of a fishy. We're going to be a little smelly line, if you will. I know that the Kings have been tearing it up, right? We see Sacramento basically beating the Clippers, right? Beating San Antonio, beating the Denver Nuggets, okay? Barely losing to Phoenix, and then getting blown out to OKC. They've had a very tough 5-game road stretch, with the exception of the San Antonio Spurs, when that game was a little closer. But Sacramento is very much a team that does not blow out on a back-to-back, 37% against the spread in the second game of a back-to-back. And we look at the Miami Heat basically covering that first matchup against the spread against Sacramento. And now, guys, they are on the road, and they are coming off some rest. So this is one where we look at Miami. They were able to beat New Orleans 106-95 on the road a couple days ago. Barely beating Philly, beating them Bucks out of the water back before the All-Star break on the 13th of February. This is something where, guys, I look at this contest. There really hasn't been too many data points for Miami since the All-Star break. But when we have that impressive win with some rest against the Pelicans, and I know the Rozier, Harrow, Orlando Robinson are all questionable within this contest. But it's something where you look at it, it's just a little fishy. Why is Miami getting 7.5 on the road? We look at these teams, and I laid it all out for you guys. I'd probably be more inclined to probably sprinkle a little bit on this Heat money line. Seeing it up as high as plus 240, plus 250, might even be able to get out there. But guys, we're going to be waiting later on in the day on this one. I want to see where the market heads, because the Heat plus 7.5, it just seems too good to be true. This is one where I definitely would be locking in the Heat plus 7.5 on the road. Really nothing on that front. The Heat are a great road team, 57%. The Kings cover at a 44% at home. So, it comes down to it, guys. It's something where you look towards the under, but there's really no value at a 225. The Kings can put up, 130 points on any given night. But it's one where, guys, we're looking in this. It just seems a little fishy. Miami getting the 7.5. That would be my lean. Within that would be to take Miami plus 7.5 and possibly a little sprinkle on the money line. So we're going to wait later on in the day before I lock this officially in. So, guys, like I said, remember to circle back to the video. Check out the comments. You'll see my official plays. But with just this 4-game slate, I don't know if I'm going to get into the prop market too heavy or if I'm just going to be playing a couple sides and totals. I haven't really made up my mind yet. So check back later on in the day for that updated post in the comments box. But hope you guys are all doing well. Let's get the ball rolling. A huge week within college basketball. We're getting close to March Madness, as well as what we're seeing in the conference tournament, and the NBA is back in full effect, which, guys, that's a very exciting thing to have happen on the channel because we're going to be talking NBA every single day. So make sure you guys are all subscribed down below on your way out. Smash that like button if you can, and as always, drop your picks and plays. What are you guys on for this evening's contest? Let me know down below in the comments. But I thank you guys all for watching. We'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.